Hello, welcome back. Happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to those of you celebrating. What did everybody do? What did we do for Mother's Day? I did a whole lot of nothing. Actually got to sleep in a little bit. Our kiddo did not wake us up until 8, which was fabulous because normally it's like between 6 and 7 o'clock. So we got a little bit more sleep. And then did a whole lot of nothing. And I did decide kind of impromptu to take my mom to coffee. So we went on a little coffee date, but that was it for me. Fun. Actually, it's sitting right in front of me. My husband, Alex, is amazing and wonderful. And he and Finn gave me some decor for my office. I've been looking at this off and on forever and ever. I just think it'd be so cute with all of the other like pastel stuff in this room to put this on one of my shelves. So I got a Lego kit for Mother's Day, which was a surprise to me because we're not really a gift giving kind of couple, Alex and I. We do like surprise gifts, but we don't really do gifts for like holidays and celebrations like that. We tend to do like activities. We'd much rather like go out and have a nice dinner than get more trinkets around the house. But that was all I did today. So checking the chat. Hello, Jessica's here. Jessica said, we went camping this weekend. Happy Mother's Day. Ooh, I love camping. I haven't been in so long. I love camping so much. That used to be something I did every single summer growing up as a kid. We'd go up into the mountains. My family shares, several of my family members share a little cabin, and we would go up there for the summers and we would take excursions. And one of them was always a camping trip. Like a fishing trip. I loved it. Adore that kind of stuff. That scenery, actually, that cabin is sort of an inspiration for me for a lot of my books. Nature's forest, that stuff really inspires me. And it reminds me a lot of growing up and doing that in the summertime. So, oh my gosh, I'm jealous. I would love to go camping. That's something actually I've brought up recently, that I would love to do, like another camping trip. Cute, isn't it? I've been looking at it for a long time. It's one of those Lego 3-in-1 kits. And so you can turn it into a couple things. But what I really wanted to do, and I thought was really eye-catching, was the typewriter. So I am super excited. I'm really excited to put it together and put it on my shelf. I think that's an activity that my son and I will do tomorrow. Just for us, after I pick him up from school, we'll probably come home and we'll have enough time between then and dinner time when Alex gets home to, I think, put that together. Just be kind of a fun activity for us. So I am excited. It's one of my hubby and I's favorite things to do. I love it. Huh. My husband did not grow up at all in an outdoorsy household, like at all. And so the first time he did any of that stuff was with some of his friends in college. And I think the first real camping, like tent camping trip he ever took was the one that we went on. And I love camping. I like tent camping. I don't do the camper, although that's also really nice and fun. But I just like tent camping. I don't know. Maybe that's something we can do this summer. We don't really have big plans because other amazing, awesome, cool things that have happened this week. I finally heard back from the state board about my LPC. So I'm officially good to go. I just need to file some final employment stuff and I can get started with clients. So that's exciting. That happened this week. I did talk about that in the vlog that I posted earlier today. So if you haven't seen it, you can check that out. If you're brand new to my channel, speaking of, I didn't even introduce myself. Hi, hello. I'm Amy Prokopis. I am an indie author of fantasy romance books. I do have one sci-fi book, my very first one. That was very fun. But I predominantly write fantasy romance. And tonight we will be working on book 2 in my spicy vampire romance, which is Curse of Blood and Sight. It is starting to really like heat up. We're like really in the thick of the action. We're getting pretty close to like the central issues, that plot mountain midpoint of the book. So I am excited. So excited. Yes. Tent camping for sure. Absolutely. Maybe that's what I would do. I would love to take like a writing retreat. And camping is a pretty like easy and pretty cheap little adventure. At least where I am, there's not too many. It's like I don't have to go too far to like go tent camping. So that might be kind of a fun little excursion. Maybe make it into like and you end up unplugging when you go anyway. There's usually not ever any internet connection. Yeah, maybe I could go unplug and do a little writing retreat. I think that'd be so much fun. Hello, happy Mother's Day. Hello, Rachel. Welcome to the stream. I am super excited. So this week, I should be able to hit the 50K mark for my book. I am so excited. So right now, tonight, we are sitting at 40. I say I should be able to. I definitely will. We are sitting at 47,552 words right now. So typically in these live streams, I get a good 1,000 words at least written. And so that should put us at 58, close to 59. So I am almost at the 50K mark. So I celebrate milestones in my writing through publication process with mini bottles of champagne. And I set them aside. I have them all marked. They're real cutesy. And when I hit those midpoints, I get a little mini champagne bottle, which is really like a glass. It's just a glass of champagne, but it's a really fun way to just mark like hitting a milestone, just like a little treat for myself. I love it. So the next milestone in the adventure of writing Curse of Blood and Sight is 50,000 words. So I should be able to hit that quite quickly. I'm really hoping that I'll be able to just smash it tomorrow and be well on our way. So, Rachel says, I'm a glamper for sure. I definitely enjoy that also. It's definitely a lot more comfortable, especially if you have one of those real nice ones where you have like the showers and the toilet and stuff. You don't have to worry about whatever campsite situations got going on. So it's definitely a lot nicer. And Alex and I have actually talked about getting a little camper van or something small. Nothing, we don't need like a big RV, but we've talked about it because it would be really nice. The comfort's nice for sure. I grew up with way too much camping. I could also see that like doing it too often can also be kind of take out the fun of it, you know? Jessica says she writes really well when she camps. I write really well when I have to unplug like that. Not that I have like a difficult time any other way. I don't really get writer's block that much. And when I do, I typically just need a break. That's usually all it is for me. Like I need to step away and creatively refresh myself. It doesn't usually take more than like an afternoon usually, and then I'm okay again. But I definitely enjoy writing most when I am kind of forced to unplug. So like going camping would be a great opportunity for me. Recently, I've been taking my laptop along with me and going a little early to sit at the carpool line, basically to pick up my son from school. And that has been a really nice opportunity to like bang out a ton of words. So it's been nice. Good ambiance. Yes, I love that kind of like white noise, especially nature noises. Oh. And I agree that camping is camping regardless of how you do it. Totally. Then I love nature and camping. Yes. Oh, I love it so, so much. Oh, I haven't been camping in like a camper van in a long time, though. That's been a long time. They are super nice, though, especially some of the newer ones. I am amazed. Some of those new ones are super nice. For sure. Oh, I love it. Man. So what is everybody working on tonight? We got onto a whole other subject. It has been a really nice chat for sure. Definitely has me thinking about, I'm already like planning a camping trip now in my brain. Things I want to do over the summer before it gets ridiculously hot around here. And then camping's not so much fun when it gets that hot because even at night it's pretty sweltering, but oh my gosh, a couple weeks and I could go camping and it'd still be really nice. So what is everybody working on tonight? Jessica said, I'm 47K into book 1 of my new series. That is where I am too. What a funny coincidence. I'm also at 47,000 words. So awesome. Book 1 of the new series. I know you had talked a little bit about it, and I think you'd said it was going to be a longer series too. So that is exciting. Oh, I passed off Trial of Flame and Wings to my friend who's proofreading it for me. That was fun. I also got a proof copy with the new cover in the mail, and it looked perfect. I was super excited. The cover looks great. Don't think I'll have to make any changes on it other than some of the interior. I have a few things I need to add and update for that, like crediting my artist since I did switch last minute. I need to add her into my copyright and my acknowledgement page. Also, I need to do that. But I passed off the book to my friend to proofread it, and she says she's not finding very much at all this time around, and she's thoroughly enjoying herself. So I'm really excited. I am so stoked to continue writing Curse of Blood and Sight, but I'm also really excited to get back to promotional stuff and finalizing the book for the release of Trial of Flame and Wings. So I'm trying, my goal is to hurry up and finish draft 1 of Curse of Blood and Sight, which shouldn't take me super long. I definitely want to be done by the end of May. And I think that's very much doable, especially because my schedule is evening out a little bit daily. And so I don't have to worry so much about finding the writing time because my schedule is getting to be really consistent. And so it's there now every day, and things are in my brain a lot more structured, and I work best with structure. So I'm excited. Rachel said, I finished my draft today. Ooh, that's so nice. Celebrating with a glass of wine. And I'm getting to start reading through and working on copy self-edits. That's awesome. That is always a huge, huge, huge accomplishment. Finishing a book. The new cover is amazing. Thank you. I'm so glad I switched. I really like this cover. I think she just looks so powerful on the front of that cover. Oh my gosh. And the artist did amazing work. I was just going to use the artwork for some other things. And then I decided, because I was struggling getting the paperback done, that let's return to the original idea, which was this cover art. And it came together so quickly. It was just a no-brainer to switch again. So I am so pleased with it. I cannot wait to start working with Abigail Sins again, who did the cover art, the character art of Ren Bellator. Cannot wait. So thank you. She did amazing. She is amazing. And I found her on Instagram. She's Abigail Sins on Instagram, if you would like to go and find her. She also has a Patreon where she puts art out constantly. She's great. It's awesome. Bookish Bliss, literally only on the outlining stage right now, trying to get the actual writing phase. I am such a pantser that, as far as I said earlier, I don't ever get writer's block, but I am such a pantser that outlining stage just does not jive with me. I get the basics done, and then I have to move on because I get too bored and I get too excited and I just have to start. So I always feel a little like I'm trudging through mud in the outlining stage, but you will get there. The writing part comes very soon after. And sometimes I wish I could be more of an outliner because it definitely would make things a little easier once you start writing. I'm 2 glasses of wine deep right now. Really good writing liquid. I feel that. Sounds like everybody is celebrating tonight with a glass of wine. I have a mug of tea. I pulled out one of my small ones because I didn't want a ton. Just enough to kind of like give me a little bit of kick of caffeine through the night, but not so much to keep me up. So I am not, do not have the fun stuff tonight. You got this. Yes, you can do it. Liquid of the writing gods. Yes, yes. Have you guys seen the, maybe a whiskey? I'm not sure, but it's Writer Tears. I think it's a whiskey. But it looks really cool. I've always wanted to get a bottle of that just to like have on display, just because it looks really fun. Thank you so much. All right, we should probably jump into our first sprint. If you are new, The Sunday live stream always follows the same formula. That's the word I'm looking for. Always follows the same formula. We'll do 25-minute sprints. We will do 3 of them, and we will chat in between. And I like to keep track of my word count as I go. It's just really motivating for me, makes me feel really accomplished to see the word count go up. And so I always write it down. I keep it on a little sticky for the live stream. And I am starting at 47,552 words. So hoping that I can knock out a ton of stuff tonight. Yes, I think it's Write Our Tears. Maybe I'll look it up here in a little bit when we start the sprint and I can link it. I think it's Write Our Tears though. My husband likes whiskey. Maybe I need to get him a bottle. I'm a big whiskey gal. I do love whiskey. And my husband's a really big whiskey, bourbon, like we're real into that at this house. So he's got a collection that he gets the real fancy stuff for as gifts. All of his friends know him really well, and that's pretty much the only gift he ever gets from people is really nice bottles of whiskey and bourbon and stuff like that. So we've got a whole collection that we break out when we celebrate, which is fun. Yes. 47,000. Oh my goodness. You and I really are on like the same wavelength here, Jessica. Holy moly. That's so funny. Oh, all right. We keep chatting. We need to get in the first sprint. Make sure you've subscribed here on YouTube. If you haven't, turn on the little bell so you don't miss any of these live streams. But we do go live every single Sunday at the same time. Yes, we got it. I feel good about tonight. I am excited. So let me pop up a little timer here. 25 minutes. We'll go for 25 minutes. We'll come back together and we'll chat, see how everybody did. Hopefully, maybe we can break through to 48,000 words, at least, Jessica. Maybe we can at least get that far. Hope so. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, sprint. Alrighty. That was our time. I feel like the timer didn't actually go off though. Like it went off. I don't know. Did you guys hear it beep? I didn't hear it beep. I don't know. Let me know. But it beeped. So we're there. I'm in the middle of a sentence, which is the worst. Okay. Rachel said she heard the timer. Okay. Maybe I just had the music up loud. I had it on my screen. So my screen changed colors. So that was good. So maybe it did go off and I just didn't hear it. Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay, it did beep. Oh my gosh. So it was just me. No worries, just me. Rachel said she got through 1.5 chapters. That is awesome. 1.5. That's a really good chunk, especially depending on how long the chapters are in that book. I've been told I kind of write long chapters. I don't think I do, but maybe I do. I don't know. They tend to be all like 10-ish pages. I don't know. How long is a long chapter to you guys? Maybe that's a better question. Jessica said 268 words. I haven't actually counted up how many words I got the first sprint because I was in the middle of a sentence. Oh my gosh. So I'm at 47,990 words. I did go a tad slower. I kind of had to think about the direction I was heading. I am always a little slower with the first sprint though, so nothing new there. So, I actually didn't do too bad. I got 438 words in the first sprint. Okay, so that's not too bad. Even especially with me needing like a hot second to kind of figure out the direction I was going. I just needed to like reorient myself since this book takes place in New Orleans. I had to kind of orient myself about like the physical scene. I had to think about where we were, literally where we are heading, because they're walking around New Orleans right now. So I had to think about it. Jessica likes long chapters. I kind of do too. I like to really like settle in to a book, and it's a little easier when you're in a long chapter versus like having the little breaks in between, I think. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is kind of a reader choice. Maybe it was a friend of mine, my friend that proofreads my books for me, who said my chapters are kind of long. And she does tend to read. She reads a lot of the same stuff I write, but some of the books she reads are like they're written differently. So maybe it is kind of a reader choice. 322 words for Bookish Bliss. That is great. Got sidetracked towards the end. I hear you. If I look up and see that there's like less than 5 minutes left on the timer, my brain will like switch off and I'll have a hard time like continuing to write because I know the timer's going to go off and I'm worried about getting caught in the middle of something, just like I did. I got caught in the middle of a sentence. So Rachel's chapters are about 1 to 3K, definitely on the shorter end for some writers. So maybe it is just kind of like a preference. We all did. Yeah, we did. We all are like on a roll. We're really getting some stuff done today. Yeah, I plan on about the same amount per chapter and they're pretty short. There's definitely it's definitely a preference, but I also think there's like choice to writing short chapters like that. It's just like when you write like writing a short sentence versus a really long one. Sometimes it has more impact when it's short and sweet, or it feels abrupt, and that's what you're going for is like an abrupt halt. So I think sometimes there's definitely a point to having short chapters, and some books just need like to move along at that kind of a pace, and some need to be more drawn out maybe. So maybe it just depends on what I'm writing, because I have written some books from like multiple points of views that tend to be, I don't know, the chapters tend to be different. I love short chapters. Try to make readers keep reading at every cliffhanger. Yes. Yes. I love that. A good cliffhanger at the end of a chapter will definitely make me pick up the next one. That's the goal. Yes, that's the goal anyways. See, I do like a good cliffhanger. I know not everybody does. I know especially like some of my friends that I talk to pretty often who read Curse of Wings and Darkness were a little unhappy with me because they knew that this book I'm writing right now, Curse of Blood and Sight, comes out the next year. They knew it came out the next October. And so some of them were very unhappy with me because of the way I left Curse of Wings and Darkness. There's that one chapter at the end that is from a different point of view that reveals some things. And they were very unhappy with me leaving it there because then they had to wonder, like, what's the intention? What happens? What does that mean? And I don't want to give anything away, but they were mad because I did leave it on kind of like a cliffhanger. I definitely pick it up right back where we left off in this book. So you get the explanation right away for the cliffhanger. And I think that will like kind of quell some people's fears and worries. But I do love a good cliffhanger. I understand from the reader's perspective, though, like I also don't like a good cliffhanger when I'm reading a book because now I have to wait for the next one. So I get that too. That's why I'm so excited for the next book. Okay, so Jessica knows what I'm talking about how I left off the end of that book. I need to get KU again. I actually am not a KU reader. All of my books are in KU, but I don't have that subscription. I used to be an Audible subscriber, and I stopped when I stopped running so much because what I would do is when I was cleaning around the house and when I would go on my runs every other day, I would listen to Audible. I was listening to the books. I also had like the physical books most of the time. And so I went between. And when I stopped running so much, we dropped the Audible subscription. And I kind of miss it. I just recently got in the mail some promotional stuff from Amazon. They were trying to get me to resubscribe and get a pretty hefty discount. And so now I'm thinking about it again. But I know I would also love the KU subscription. I don't know what it looks like from that side, though. I only know from the author side with KU, but I could see myself really enjoying that. I do have a Kindle, so I'm sure I would love that. I love KU as a writer and a reader. I make most of my money through it. Oh, right now I definitely am making most of my money from KU. That was, I was not wide with my ebooks for very long. With my very first book, it was wide and available on multiple ebook platforms for not even a year. It was not very long, really, probably like 6 months maybe. And I really wasn't making like any more for having it wide. And so I decided to take a chance and just see what could happen because you can always like unenroll when that limit is up for KU because you enroll your book every time. It's not just there forever. It's not like a be all end all. You can always, when your contract is up, you can always pull it back out. And I thought, I already have everything set up for the ebook to be wide. I might as well just pull it off wide and enroll it in Kindle Unlimited and see what happens. And I immediately made more money and more people immediately picked up my book. And so going into Kindle Unlimited was the best decision for me. There's always like a little bit of like the qualm for me, like being so reliant on Amazon. I dislike that. I would love for my books to be really like in bookstores and for them to benefit like the small shops and stuff. But I also know that like you've got to sustain your own career also. And what sustains my writing is like the income from my writing. So it's tough. Yes. But that made such a big difference. Yeah, it is kind of a hard decision. I am curious what it's like from the reader's point of view, though, so I may have to do that. The price increased from $9 to $13. I decided to cancel because I wasn't reading enough. See, and that's why I haven't enrolled in it because I do read a lot, but I have to be careful sometimes, mostly like what I'm reading when I'm writing because I don't want to like conflate the two. And sometimes I feel like too much of the same thing zaps my creative energy. So if I'm writing a fantasy book and then reading a fantasy book, sometimes that doesn't really mix well for me. And it's like too much of the same and my brain needs a break from it. So I try to read different things than what I'm writing at the moment. And then I'll switch back when I'm like editing. So when I'm editing my books, I might read a fantasy book and I'll try to switch. That way I don't like get creatively burnt out so much. But I don't know if I would read enough for, like you're saying, like the price and stuff. I can't necessarily guarantee it. So I just stick to having my TBR shelf and my unread books on Kindle that I just purchased right now. I'm going to look into that after the first year of my book too. It's an interesting comparison because there are authors out there who do great being wide. They have a community of readers that read on like Nook, or they just read digitally in apps anyway. And so being able to download it from Apple Books is nice. So I think a lot of it depends on your readership. I think some is like the demographics of your readership too, like older, maybe like elder millennials even. I don't think maybe care so much about like the Kindle Unlimited or I don't know. Some of them read on other devices or it may not matter so much. So I don't know. I think it might depend a little bit. So it is kind of an interesting comparison, but I know for me, a very large percentage of my income every month is Kindle Unlimited. Yeah. I justify it if I read more than 13 books. Yeah, than the 13 books I read. But since I was only reading one per month, I'd rather buy directly from the author. I hear you. That's kind of how I read right now anyway. I used to read a book a week, which was crazy to think about now, reading a book a week and writing like I was. But honestly, at that time in my life, I had such a demanding job that I needed outlets, and I needed outlets that could be so consuming that it would make me completely disconnect from like the present. And so that's how I was reading that much, because I needed like the escapism of it. So now I don't read that much. I wish I did, because I miss it. I really do. I miss reading all the books. But yeah, I read more like one book a month now. Sometimes more. Like if I'm only editing and I'm not actively drafting anything that month, then I will read a lot more. But really, it's about a book a month. Yeah, that's true. It would be cheaper and it supports the author more when you're just buying direct like that. That is very true. It's kind of fun to buy direct from an author. You get all the like fun things. You get personalized book. Or I just know from being like from the author side, it's just really nice sometimes to get like a purchase and not just like the subscription royalties and stuff. I don't know. Sometimes it's nice. And sometimes those readers will reach out. And it's always really fun, especially like the paperback authors or even just the Kindle, like seeing when somebody posts your book like that on social media that they're reading it, that's just surreal. That never gets old. Jessica said, I read about one a month too. That's just about what I can keep up with consistently. Yeah, works for me. I think now that my schedule's evening out, like I talked about earlier, I'm not really any less busy. I just like the busyness is just real consistent about like where it falls in my day. I think I'll be able to get back into reading more consistently now that there's more structure to my day. All right. I would love to get back into, I'm not mid-sentence, but I'm mid-quote. I'm in the middle of the quote. Have not even finished what's being said. So I would love to get back into that. So I am at 47,990 words. I would love to get a ton done. I want to get into 48,000 words in this sprint. Oh, it would be so cool if I could get to 50K tonight with you guys in the stream. I don't think it'll happen, but I can get close. I know that. Maybe I can do 50K tonight though. Even if that's writing a little after the live stream, sometimes I do that. So we'll see. So let's go ahead, move into sprint number 2. Make sure you've liked the stream down below. I know I hear this a lot online too, especially with the economy the way it is right now, that it's like people aren't buying books because it's just expensive and we need to, buy other things, save money, whatever. I understand. But things as simple as like a like on this video or leaving a comment in the comment section or sharing a book online, even if you haven't read it, but maybe you're just sharing the post, helps a ton. So if you guys could give me a like below, it would be much appreciated. Jessica said, my goal is 50K too. Love that. We are going to smash it. We are like running parallel to each other. We're right on the same wavelength tonight. It's so funny. You've got this. Thank you. I think we're going to kill it. I think we got it. Okay. Moving on to the second sprint of the night. Here we go. 25 minutes is up here on our clock. 3, 2, 1, sprint. See you guys in 25. Welcome back. That was the end of our second sprint of the night. Oh, I slowed up just a little bit at the end there because I got to a point where I needed to take a moment, be kind of careful about like the conversation. I was just taking a lot of care with it. I did get to 48K though. I am at 48,475 words. So I am doing very, very well. How was that sprint for everybody else? I got 485 words total that time around. So I am in a really good place. I am excited. I'm also starting to feel really energized to the point where I think I kind of want to stay up late to write. But it's a Monday tomorrow. I'm going into the office. I have things to do. I don't really know if I want to deal with being tired because it's going to be a big week. Also, it is the last week of school. So Finn has his last week of school, my son. And for Alex, because he is a high school principal, it's a really, really busy week because there's things like graduation and stuff, and it's a big high school he works for. So we've got a lot of stuff going on this week. So do I really want to stay up that late? I do, but is it smart? Rachel said, I'm with it. I am editing chapter 3. That is awesome. Ooh, editing. Editing always goes a little quicker for me than writing. 490 for me, for Jessica. Woo, that is awesome. It's so funny. We're almost like on the exact same word count. It's hilarious. Good job on the 435 words. Woo! We are all really, really moving. Usually do my social stuff on Mondays. I hear you. I usually do a lot of my social stuff and like planning stuff on Sunday afternoon, or like throughout the day. I get the vlog edited and uploaded in the morning. That's usually like the goal for the morning, aside from just household things like chores and prepping for the week. And then the afternoon is kind of dedicated to planning out my social and marketing stuff for the week, and then getting prepped for the live stream for writing in the evening. So that's Sundays are usually my days. Mondays in the past have been like really nice writing days, but now they'll be more like, I don't know, I'll be doing therapy things. So it'll be more of like a work day for that, I think, than it will be for writing. I think writing is going to end up becoming like an evening and then on like a Friday, because I only work half days Friday. I think I'm going to end up doing a lot of writing on Fridays now. 409 words for Bookish Bliss. Do you guys get a break during the summer working for the school system? Yes. I used to work for the school system. I used to be a school counselor. This is the first year that I haven't worked in schools, which is bizarre. But for the most part, yes. We have the summers off. I like to tell people we get the summers off with kids. So when I was teaching, I was still working in the summer. It was just on my own time, because if you didn't work in the summer and prep and plan, then you basically had nothing ready for day one of school. So a lot of teachers do work throughout the summer. It just looks different. We may not be in the classrooms every single day. I did a lot of my prepping and planning from home, especially as schools across the country and in the US anyway moved to being more digital than like paper pencil. I did a lot of stuff from home in the summers. And then when I was a school counselor, we did have to work at the site from time to time for enrollment things. And so, yes, it was still kind of sporadic. Like you'd come in when you had the time, or we would set certain days where we came in. And the principals are technically year round, but they get sections of time off throughout the summer. So kind of get time off in the summers. It just looks different. So when people say like being a teacher must be so nice because you don't work in the summers, that is not true. Technically, yes, if you wanted to as a teacher, you wouldn't have to do anything at all in the summer. But if you wanted to be stress-free and actually ready to go in the fall, then you would be smart to do the work in the summer. Otherwise, you would be scrambling around and working overtime all the time in the fall. So seasoned veteran teachers typically are working in the summer. If that kind of answers it, I don't know. So technically, it's really just like without kids in the summertime. Yes, we all did so great. We're all getting a lot done tonight. I'm so excited. I've always wanted to be a teacher, but I'm too selfish and became a writer. Teaching is hard work. It was not for me, and I knew that when I started it. I knew that going in, that it was not my forever career. Every single one of my relatives are teachers, just about every single one of them. And all of my aunts and uncles, my grandparents were all teachers. I have a great grandparent who was in a tiny little like prairie schoolhouse. So we go back a long time. So I know the school system pretty well in the US, even to the point where I know like how some states, especially within like more of the southern area of the US, I know kind of how like they operate and how they're different state by state. So I knew pretty strongly that I didn't want to be a teacher, at least for the long term. There are things I love about it for sure. Like I love helping kids. I love teenagers, love working with them, which is why I also like being a counselor and being a therapist, because it's some of the same kind of work. You still get to work with kids and you still develop skills and career paths and like future planning. It's fun. But I knew it wasn't for me. And it's funny because all of my cousins had like the same sentiment. And so all of our parents were teachers and all of us were like, nope, not doing it. None of us are. So it's kind of funny. But it is so, so rewarding. It really is. It is so rewarding. It's a lot of hard work, but the wins feel like really, really big wins. Working with kids, because you really do shape so much you can shape so much of a person at that age. And I mean, we all have memories of being in school and stuff. It's so, so rewarding. I didn't even read your full message. I worked in healthcare for a long time until I became a writer. I hear some of the same sentiments about like being overworked, but it being really rewarding. Like from people working in healthcare, I've also heard that. I've worked with teachers who have done both also. The high school I worked at, we had a science teacher who I think she still worked part-time as a paramedic. Also, she came from that kind of line of work and then came over and taught physiology at our high school and did some like biology and stuff. And she said it like there in some ways, like the kind of work and like the workload itself was not a ton different. So yeah, there are some similarities, I think, in some funny places in that line of work. I hope that was a good answer. It is hard work. It really is, but it is super, super rewarding. I've definitely met some lifetime teachers that are amazing. There are some really, really good teachers out there. I think sometimes that profession gets kind of a bad rap, but there are some awesome teachers. Definitely hard work. I have to go, but goodbye, everyone. Thank you for doing this. This helped me get some much needed writing done. I'm glad you could join. It's always nice having co-working like this. It's very motivational. Sometimes it reminds me to stay on task too, doing these live streams. So I'm glad you can join. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Yeah, I would love if she could join us again next week. It is 10 o'clock here where I am. So 10 o'clock, I can hear Alex walking around. So that must mean that they are done with D&D for the night. So he's probably gearing up to go to sleep. He has a big week ahead of him. So I'm going to let him do that and not bother him. So I may stay up just a little bit. I don't want to like go to bed so early that I wake him up again. Yes, have a good day, good evening. It's going to be a great week. We're going to accomplish some big things. I am excited. All right. So I think, seems like in the chat anyway, we're in a pretty good place maybe to move into our final sprint of the night. So let's go ahead look at the third sprint. I am so excited to get back to this. I think it's gonna take me a little bit to get back into it because, like, I think I had said that when we finished sprint number 2, I'm at a point where I'm being a little bit more mindful of the conversation or getting into some deeper conversation, Lily and Angel. So I'm being a little careful about how I write it. So I am picking up at 48,475 words. So let's see how much further I can take that. So far, I've been able to get really far. So maybe we'll get 49K. That would be awesome if I could do that. If I get 49K tonight, I'm going to have a really hard time not staying up to hit 50K tonight. Oh, yes, but yes. All right, here we go. Let's put our timer up. 25 minutes. This is the last 25-minute sprint of the live stream. Oh, all right. We can do it. Let's get some work done. End the night on a good one. Maybe it'll be our biggest sprint yet. All right. See you in 25. 3, 2, 1. Sprint. All right. Welcome back to the final stretch of the live stream. I am at 48,966 words. So didn't quite get to 49. Almost did though. And I do plan on staying up to at least finish this little piece of dialogue. I don't know if I will stay up a ton longer just because it is Monday. It's going to be a really big week. I'm going to have a lot of time to do writing this week. So I'm not planning to stay up late. So how did everyone else do? I wrote 491 words. So that was my most productive writing session of the night. I am counting up my total for the sprint. Okay. For the entire live stream tonight, I wrote 1,414 words, which is great. I am very pleased with that. It has been a really good night of writing. I am always so happy to write with you guys. Oh, so hopefully it was really productive for all of you guys too. Rachel says, I got to chapter 4 of copy editing. That's good. You've done quite a few tonight. Jessica said only 113 that sprint, got distracted. It was the end of the sprint. So a lot of times I tend to taper off as the sprints go, especially towards the end of the night. So I'm a little surprised this was my longest one I wrote the most in this sprint, but it's good. It's been a good week. I've written over 5,000 words for the week, which is good. So I'm feeling really, really good. Yes, I agree. 113 isn't only, it's progress. Absolutely. That's why I track my sprints, because any little bit forward makes me feel really good. So sometimes it is important to remember that like every little bit counts towards some kind of progress, even if it's words you write and then delete later, or words you write just to get to the ones you keep, every little bit gets you closer to that point. Jessica says, finished the night off at 48,426. Progress for sure. Absolutely. Oh, that's great. We all did amazing tonight. I'm very proud of us. Oh, hopefully this has been a good kickoff to the week, and it'll be a really good week for all of us. Also, I'm looking forward to it being a really busy one with things around my house, but I am excited. I should have quite a bit of time for writing this week, just little pockets here and there. I think I'll be able to get a lot done this week writing wise. I'm going to have some evenings also this week, which is nice. I'm excited about that. And this is the week that I should get started on with an actual therapy schedule. So I'm excited. Lots of big things happening for me this week. I have a page in my bullet journal that tracks every 100 words for my drafts. That's what Rachel says. I track mine in my planner. There's a little section for notes and such in my happy planner. And I dedicate a piece of that to tracking my word count for the day. And then I total it for the week. And it's just kind of nice to see. And so when I feel like I'm making slow progress, or I'm worried about hitting my deadlines or being where I want to, I go through the weeks and I just see how many words per week I'm writing. And it's super, super motivating. Definitely confirms that every little bit counts for sure. Yes. Everybody did great tonight. I think it'll be a good week for all of us. Positivity is powerful. That is my mantra for this year. Positivity is powerful. So I try to be in the here and now and think about the best of every situation that I can. Think about things I can control, what I can do that leads me forward. So it has been a good night. I think it is a good place to leave off though. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I'm going to schedule out next week's because we will go live again at the same time next week. So make sure that you've got notifications turned on below if you're somebody like me that loves all your reminders. That way, YouTube will let you know before we go live. So I'll get that up and scheduled super soon so you don't miss it. And there's a link in the description box also to follow me online on social media if you're not already, because I'm very active online and would love to connect with you there, see all your projects and stuff. So yeah, thanks for following along with me, guys. I will see you later. Read books, be kind. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.